You know, I often talk to folks who quietly whisper something like, "I just don't feel as strong as I used to," and they look down like they're embarrassed. But here's the truth. It's not about age, it's about awareness. Muscle loss after 60 is real, but there are ways to stand tall again. Let's walk through them gently and simply, one breakfast at a time. Let's start simple, not flashy, not hard, just honest. A lot of people don't realize how much protein matters in the morning. After 60, your body naturally starts to lose muscle faster. That's called sarcopenia. And the thing is, even if you eat well later in the day, missing protein at breakfast means your muscles never quite get what they need to rebuild and stay strong. I remember a man named Will, 67, from Boise. He came to one of my community talks and waited until the end to ask quietly if it was normal to feel shaky just going up the porch steps. He'd been a firefighter in his younger days, strong as an ox. Now, he said, "I feel like my legs are made of jelly by lunchtime." When we talked through his meals, it turned out he was skipping breakfast or having just toast and coffee. Another woman, Eileen, 72, from Michigan, told me she always thought breakfast should be light. But light for her meant low protein, a muffin or just fruit. Over time, her walking pace slowed, and she didn't feel stable on uneven ground. When both Will and Eileen added a protein source in the morning, things slowly changed. Not dramatically, but gradually. More energy. Steadier walk. Less fear of falling. What I often recommend is starting your day with 2 eggs, scrambled, boiled, or as part of a soft omelette. Eggs are gentle on the stomach, full of high-quality protein and easy to prepare. You can even cook them the night before and just warm them up in the morning. Think of it like this. Your muscles are like old friends. They've carried you far, and now they're just asking for a little support. One good breakfast won't change everything overnight, but it's the kind of quiet promise your body remembers. Here's another one I've seen work time and again: adding plain Greek yogurt to your morning routine. You see, after 60, the way our digestive system absorbs nutrients can shift. The gut becomes a bit more sensitive, less efficient, and that affects how your body uses the protein you eat. Plus, many older adults struggle with appetite in the morning, so they eat too little to really fuel their muscles. That slow digestion and low intake quietly chip away at strength. I had a patient named Betty, 74, from Ohio, who told me she felt tired by 10 a.m. every day, even though she was sleeping well. When we talked, I found out she often skipped breakfast, or just had toast. I suggested she try a small bowl of plain Greek yogurt with a few berries. Within 2 weeks, she called me and said, "I didn't know breakfast could make this much difference." Then there was Leo, 70, from Phoenix. He struggled with gas and bloating and avoided dairy for years. But once he gave Greek yogurt a chance, just a few spoonfuls a day, not only did his digestion improve, but he felt steadier walking his dog in the mornings. One of the simplest ways to help your muscles and digestion is to add 1/2 to 1 cup of plain Greek yogurt in the morning. It's rich in protein and packed with probiotics, the good bacteria that help your gut stay balanced and strong. It's like giving your body a calm, quiet boost to start the day. No noise, no fuss, just a small spoonful of strength where it counts. Another gentle shift that makes a big difference is starting the morning with a warm bowl of oats. The reason is simple. After 60, energy dips can feel sharper. You might feel steady at 7 a.m., then suddenly drained by 9:30. That's often because the body isn't getting the kind of steady fuel it needs. Quick sugars spike and crash, but complex carbs, like oats, release energy slowly, giving your muscles a more reliable source to draw from. I remember George, 70, from Minnesota. A retired postman, he told me he couldn't understand why walking around the block left him feeling dizzy by mid-morning. "I thought I was just getting older," he said. But when I looked at his meals, I noticed he started every day with a glass of juice and a slice of toast. Fast sugar, fast crash. I asked him to try plain oats with a few walnuts and half a banana. 2 weeks later, he was back smiling, saying, "I didn't nap once this week." Another client, Rosa, 68, from Florida, added oats after her doctor warned about prediabetes. Not only did it help stabilize her blood sugar, but she said her legs didn't ache as much on long walks. One easy habit is cooking 1 to 2 cups of plain oats in water or milk and topping it with fruit and a few seeds or nuts. It's gentle, filling, and keeps your muscles and brain fueled longer. A warm bowl of oats is like morning kindness, soft, simple, and steadying. And some days that gentle start is exactly what your body's been asking for. Something small, but incredibly supportive, is adding a handful of almonds in the morning. After 60, many people notice tiny muscle twitches, nighttime cramps, or just a sense that their legs feel heavy. That's often tied to low magnesium, a mineral that quietly helps muscles relax and contract properly. And magnesium isn't stored well as we age, especially if you take certain medications or avoid nuts due to outdated diet rules. Linda, 66 from Colorado Springs, came to me worried about constant tingling in her calves. Her tests looked normal, but I asked about her diet. No nuts, no seeds, lots of tea. I suggested just 10 almonds a day. After 3 weeks, she told me, I haven't had a twitch in days. Then there was Sam, 71, a widower from Oregon, who thought snacks were for children. When I explained how almonds provide not just magnesium, but healthy fats that support muscle cell membranes, he gave it a try. He liked that they were easy to store, didn't spoil, and didn't require any prep. They just work, he told me. Quite. What helps many people is keeping 10-12 raw or lightly roasted almonds on hand and eating them slowly with breakfast or mid-morning tea. You can even chop them into yogurt or sprinkle on oatmeal for texture and taste. Almonds aren't flashy, but in their quiet crunch is strength, steadiness, and something your muscles remember. Small steps, held consistently, build lasting support. There's one green that works quietly but powerfully. It's spinach. After 60, muscles don't just need protein, they need minerals like potassium and antioxidants that protect them from daily wear. As we age, oxidative stress increases, which means your cells face more rust, so to speak. That rust can make your muscles weaker and more prone to soreness, even after simple chores or walks. Thomas, 75, from North Carolina, used to mow his small lawn in under 30 minutes. One summer, it started taking him nearly an hour. He said, "It's like my body's stuck in slow motion." When we talked, he mentioned barely touching vegetables. I suggested spinach, not raw but gently sautéed in olive oil, maybe tossed into eggs or soup. 2 months later, he called to say he was back to his old pace, feeling less stiff. Another woman, June, 70, from Nevada, added a small handful of spinach to her daily smoothie. She didn't expect much, but noticed fewer leg cramps after her evening walks. "I think my knees are smiling," she joked. One practical step is to use a small handful of fresh or frozen spinach daily, mixed into eggs, blended into a smoothie, or added to soup. Cooked spinach is easier on digestion and still packed with nutrients. Spinach might not be loud, but it's steady. Think of it like a quiet friend who shows up every morning to help you move just a little more freely. Your muscles deserve that kind of friend. One habit I often suggest, especially for older adults dealing with persistent soreness or slow recovery, is adding a small portion of oily fish like salmon to breakfast a few times a week. After 60, low-grade inflammation becomes more common. It's like a quiet fire inside the body that wears on the muscles over time. This kind of inflammation doesn't always show up on tests, but it shows up in how long it takes to bounce back after a walk, or how stiff your joints feel in the morning. I remember Greta, 73, from Seattle. She was active, still helped with her grandkids, but told me she ached for hours after a simple morning walk. "It just doesn't go away like it used to," she said. We reviewed her meals, and she hadn't eaten fish in years. I suggested trying smoked salmon or canned sardines on whole grain toast. She liked the ease of it and said, "I didn't think fish in the morning would work, but I'm walking longer without paying for it." Another gentleman, Barry, 76, from Georgia, had never liked the smell of cooked fish, but started eating a slice of smoked mackerel with his eggs. "My hands don't swell up like they used to," he told me. "What helps is eating about 2 to 3 ounces of salmon, sardines, or mackerel 2 or 3 mornings a week, maybe with toast, crackers, or folded into scrambled eggs. You don't need much, just consistency." Omega-3s are like a gentle balm for aging muscles. They soothe, protect, and help you keep doing the small things that make life full. You deserve that comfort. Let me share one last gentle ally for your muscles: blueberries. As we age, our bodies become more sensitive to what's called oxidative stress. That's a fancy way of saying the body experiences more internal wear and tear, especially in muscle tissues. This kind of stress weakens the fibers, slows down recovery, and leaves muscles feeling tired even after a quiet day. Antioxidants are your body's way of fighting back, and blueberries are full of them. Harold, 69, from Vermont, was a quiet man who loved nature walks but had started cutting them short. "I get winded faster," he told me. When I asked about his diet, he smiled and said, "Well, I'm more of a meat and potatoes guy." I gently encouraged him to try adding a handful of blueberries each morning, either fresh or frozen. 2 weeks later, he said, "I feel a little more spring in my step, maybe it's the berries." Another story comes from Ruth, 71, in Michigan. She was dealing with muscle soreness that made gardening feel like a chore. Her daughter brought her blueberries for a smoothie, and after a month of having it with breakfast, Ruth called and said, "I forgot what it's like to bend without wincing." One easy way to help your muscles recover and stay strong is adding 1–2 cups of blueberries to your breakfast, stirred into yogurt, sprinkled on oatmeal, or blended into a smoothie. Blueberries are small, but they carry strength. Think of them as little shields for your muscles, quiet, sweet, and always on your side. And that's a kindness your body will remember. If even one of these ideas feels doable, that's already a win. Let me know in the comments. What will you try first? I read every message. And if this felt helpful, tap subscribe and ring the bell so we can keep walking this path together. Remember, you are not alone in this. You still have strength, and each small step is a way of honoring it. Keep going, gently, bravely, fully,